Welcome back to the Brotagonists Podcast. I'm your bro host, Mason.
And I'm your bro host, Carter. Welcome back. So today is a super fun episode. We are going to have the chance to talk about one of our favorite books, The Sword of Kaigen, a Japanese-inspired war epic fantasy. And after that, we're going to play a blind rankings game, which we know that you guys love, and so do we. We think it's pretty fun. Then we're doing, what is it, Mason? It's like a guess which character.
Guess who?
We're doing a Guess Who game, a new segment on the Brotagonists Podcast around Avatar the Last Airbender characters. So the first one of us to guess who the other person is thinking is going to win. And we're going to do 2 out of 3 there. Then we're going to move on to Watchtower Review. We're talking a little bit about some things in Avatar the Last Airbender. We have a few prompts there to talk about. So that's going to be pretty fun. And then I've got a weapon of wisdom to share with y'all. And then we're going to say goodbye till next week. So, Mason, what are you reading right now?
It's a great question. I've been reading. I haven't been reading a ton because I've been watching Olympic hockey and USA just won gold. I'm stoked about that.
Nice.
And I do apologize for my background today as I am on rotation in Estes Park right now. And this is my little room that I'm staying in for the next couple of weeks. So I don't have my usual bookshelves behind me. But since we last recorded, I finished Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, and it was fantastic. It was great. I really loved it. Very different, not very different. Differences book to movie, but I still I like the movie adaptation of everything that happened in the book, and feel that they did a good job. But I now love the books way more than the movies, and I did really like the movies before. And I couldn't stop doing Harry Potter, so I'm on to Half-Blood Prince.
Awesome.
And I'm starting Zelda. The Oracle of Ages.
Oracle of Ages. Nice.
I did the Ocarina of Time last year, and it was actually, this is the only mangas that I've ever read, and I've actually loved these. It reminds me of the video games quite a bit, and they're super fun, super quick, easy reads, good light reading, and that's what I'm reading right now.
Did you play a lot of the video games?
Just on Nintendo 64. I've never done any stuff on the Switch. I haven't done Breath of the Wild at all. I just did like the Ocarina of Time when I had it on my N64.
Did you do Twilight Princess?
I did not.
Okay. Dude, the Breath of the Wild was way fun, but I never did any of the other ones.
I heard that was like the best game that they came out with on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Well, very good. I'm glad you're going through Harry Potter, just powering through it, because then we can talk about it all, because they're so good. They're so good. Well, this week I finished Dune Messiah. I actually finished that one last night, and I thought Dune was so spectacular that Dune Messiah kind of let me down a little bit, but I did like enjoy seeing what happens after Dune. It just wasn't what I expected. And the ending kind of redeemed the book a little bit, I thought, but it wasn't my favorite book. I'm just going to be honest. I'm sorry, Frank Herbert, but it was not. Good enough story. I still enjoyed myself. I still enjoyed the world. It's sad when second books don't live up to the first book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I thought it was an easier read, but it was like very anticlimactic.
Yeah. And I just felt like there was so much plotting going on the part of the antagonists. And then all of a sudden it just kind of anticlimactic, so Dune Messiah, we'll get to that book eventually. Then,
but do you see what I mean when I said I think they could end the movies after just the Dune Messiah?
Totally. Because spoiler alert, they won't need Timothée Chalamet anymore after Dune Messiah. But it would be very interesting to see the Children of Dune. I'm interested in how the God Emperor becomes a worm.
I'm going to do I think I'm reading that one this year, Children of Dune.
Yeah. Anyway, I think I will read Children of Dune, but that book is set 9 years after the events of Dune Messiah. And Dune Messiah is set 12 years after the events of Dune. I was having a difficult time coming up with the next book to read on my to be read list. And I settled on my first American Western, Lonesome Dove, and I've heard great things about this book. And I have never seen the TV show or if there's a movie about it, but I've heard some reviews, and it's apparently a classic and one of the best American Westerns ever written. So I'm super excited about it. I got into it today, and it's actually pretty big. So I might be reading this one for maybe a week or 2 or 3. So that brings us to our book breakdown, The Sword of Kaigen. Mason, you want to give us our synopsis of the book?
The Sword of Kaigen is a fantasy set in the isolated snow-covered lands of the Kaigenese Empire, where elite warriors known as the Jijikalu can shape ice into water swords and deadly blades. The story follows 14-year-old Mamoru Matsuda, heir to the legendary warrior family, who begins to question everything he's been taught about duty and honor when a new student reveals uncomfortable truths about his country. Meanwhile, his mother Misaki, who gave up her own violent past to be a dutiful wife, struggles with her suppressed identity and threats grow. When the neighboring Ranganese Union launches a brutal invasion, the Matsuda family is thrown into a devastating conflict that forces them to confront propaganda, war, and their own personal struggles. Themes of family sacrifice, identity, and the cost of loyalty are explored against intense battles and emotional heartbreak.
It was pretty dense, but if you're looking for epic fantasy that feels massive but stays emotionally intimate, The Sword of Kaigen absolutely delivers. At its core, it's a story about a family, legacy, and the cost of loyalty. And it's set in a Japanese-inspired fantasy world, which was new for me. And these elemental warriors, this clan that live on the Sword of Kaigen, they practice with the element of water. And so it's pretty cool. It's very Avatar the Last Airbender kind of magic system. So that's kind of cool to get into. And that's why we're talking about Avatar the Last Airbender later on in the episode. Ties in perfectly. Initial thoughts on this book, Mason?
So this is the first book I've ever read by ML Wang, and I will say she just killed it. You could recommend me any book that she has written, I will 110% read it, because this book was so good. It feels like a samurai Avatar the Last Airbender set in the 1950s-ish technology, and it's just goated. The battle scenes are so good, the emotional ups and downs are so good, the deeper connections and relationships and things you see, it's just incredible. The emotional aspect of it, the fighting aspect of it, you get everything in this book.
I think last year when I gave you this book, I said, you will cry. Did you cry?
I don't think I did. I don't
expect you to emasculate yourself on the podcast. Never mind.
No, for whatever, I was more in shock than anything.
Yeah.
And the part that you probably expected me to cry at wasn't the one where I got close. I think I got close later on.
Later on. Yeah, I know what you mean. So just a little bit about this book. I think the publishing story is very interesting. I want to talk about more of the book, but first, the publishing story I think is really cool. It was originally self-published by ML Wang in 2019. She just wrote this standalone in a larger universe. I think she has books. She calls it the Theonite series. She decided to self-publish this book through Amazon, and it was released in 2019 with very little marketing. It wasn't backed by any big publisher, no advance, no bookstore, just a quiet indie release. And by word of mouth, it just exploded. And fantasy fans started discovering it through Goodreads reviews, BookTube, Reddit, and all these hidden gem kind of articles and stuff like that. It gained better traction, I think, because of its emotional nature. I think you read this book and you're just like, oh my gosh, I have to share this with my friend. I need them to feel the things that this book is making me feel. And that's exactly what I did with you and Jordan, as I gave you guys these books and you have to read these books. So the mother-son dynamic hits really hard, and it's the elemental magic tropes I think are really well done in this book, and I think really captivated readers. And it did feel less like an indie novel and more literary, and I think people were pretty surprised at the quality of this book, knowing that it was self-published. And where this book kind of had its big break was it won a published fantasy blog off. So it gave it a lot of credibility. So I think it won like self-published book of the year. But why do you think people should read this book?
First and foremost, it makes you think. It definitely hits on some hard subjects that just like really make you wonder certain things, and it makes you feel a certain way. How you feel about your potential country or government and the things going on around you that you might not know about. I like how you touched on the mother-son dynamic between Mamoru and Misaki, and the relationship between Misaki and Takeru, her husband, was very interesting to see. And so it has like a big emotional component to it. But the main fight in this book was so entertaining and so badass. Like it really, you feel like you're in Avatar the Last Airbender again, but the rated R version of it. It's like real violent, real intense.
Lots of blood.
Lots of blood, high stakes. I just remember watching or imagining Memorial's Uncle Takeshi, fighting and doing all his crazy stuff. He just has like crazy raw power with their elemental forms. Just like imagining like in the Avatar: The Last Airbender world, like when the full moon is out and the waterbenders are able to do the same thing was like a cool thing for me.
Yeah. And just all the skills that Misaki could use. But this is another one of those books, kind of like The Shadow of the Gods, where there's a lot of action. The action matters. And when battle happens, they're not just a spectacle. They change the people in them and they cost something. And the cost is brutal. It's had something happen in a book that you've never seen happen.
Never seen happen. I don't think I'd ever see it happen again. And it was a bold choice, and I was like, what the actual are you thinking? But it worked. It worked really well.
It was, yeah, I think that's what really, really made this book stick for me. Not just all the emotional depth, but the stylistic choices that the author made. And after reading this book, I looked at all the other books she had, and then she had just come out with the Blood Over Bright Haven, which is another great book that I want to talk about on here. But this book lingers with you. You won't just finish it. You'll sit with it, and it might finish you, actually.
Like, there's just so many deep, deep elements to this book.
And you've heard us talk about the emotional depth of this book and also all the action, but truly the characters carry this book. Like the relationships are what carry the book, really, or carry the story more than the world building, even though the world building is amazing. And the relationships are so deep and so intricate that you feel like they are real people feeling real emotions. And that's what this author does just so well. She subverts your expectations. Like she sets you up for one kind of story. You read The Sword of Kaigen. You're like, oh, okay, this is going to be about some epic fantasy sword that is just a super powerful magical relic. And then the first chapter, you're like, oh, the Sword of Kaigen is a place. It's like a peninsula, and the people that live on the Sword of Kaigen are kind of the first defense and strongest defense of the nation. And they're kind of being used to defend against the strongest attacks. And so they're always being tested, and they're super powerful because they're training for invasion all the time.
Yeah. Excellent world building. Excellent idea of the name of the place is the Sword of Kaigen. I thought it was going to be like an actual sword that we could rank in our sword rankings, but I think it ended up better that way, where there wasn't like a mystical fantasy sword, and it was more just this culture of we're a warrior tribe, and they say it all the time, we are the Sword of Kaigen, and like they are not going to be beat.
They're proud of it.
I just they're proud people. It reminds me of like the samurai, like the honor bound warriors that have their pride and won't back down from any challenge.
Yeah, exactly. And it leaves so much more to be written, but I think that's also one of the cool stylistic choices that M.O. Wang made. Was it could continue, but feeling like you just experienced that story within somebody's life, and then all those flashbacks, I think, was enough, and it made the story complete. It's a hard book to describe. It's really tough to describe, but it really is so amazing.
Which relationship that was kind of delved into in this book do you think stood out the most to you?
Misaki and Takeru.
Takeru.
Yeah, Takeru and Misaki's relationship. Uh, the whole. I mean, you think it's one way, and you're getting one side of the story most of the book, and so you really feel one way about um, Takeru, and then when he kind of opens up, you're like, whoa, that is deep and that makes sense and that is crazy. And then the way that they can kind of come back together through strife and through conflict really was powerful.
I do think if I could change one thing about the book is I feel that the climax of the conflict happens too early and we go into Misaki's past a little too late. I think as far as pacing it would have been better if we were getting Misaki's past throughout the novel and then the kind of the climax happens earlier and all the resolution and good emotional moments we get come in not like 60% of the way through the book, but in the last like 20%.
Yeah. I feel like we're used to Brandon Sanderson where he's like, it's, Sander launches at the end where the end is the climax and everything happens to the end. Movies, the big battle happens at the end. But this book is really just like a classic going up the mountain and then coming down the mountain with lots of emotion along the way. It's like the climax is right in the middle and it's just kind of symmetrical that way, which is kind of pleasing to my OCD brain. And it was cool because it is different from what is being written and movies that are being made. But you're right. It could be perceived that it was a little too early.
But that's just a preference choice. She's the artist and we loved it.
If we could write a fraction as well as her, we'd be happy campers. So M.L. Wang, read this book. You're intimidated by the Japanese-inspired epic fantasy-ness of it. I would start with Blood Over Bright Haven as your first novel to read by her. It's smaller, and you don't have to learn all of these Japanese names and stuff like that. And then if you like that book, you'll know that you'll love this book.
Yeah, and even at that, I'm going to read Blood Over Bright Haven this year. I would highly recommend M.L. Wang, even though this is the only book I've read by her. Her reputation just from this book is she's elite. She deserves all the praise, and I'm excited to read that book. And I do feel you can jump into Sword of Kaigen. It's a cool dive into a different type of fantasy than what we're used to, and I like the Japanese style of it. So, like Carter said, you can start with Blood Over Bright Haven if you need a little warm up, but I also think you can jump right in if you would like. Carter, do you have an official ranking for this book?
I do. I love this book. And I know it's going to be higher again than yours.
I ranked this one really high. I'm sure it's higher than mine, but I ranked this one really high.
Yeah. Okay. Goodreads has this book at an 8.8, an 8.8, 8.9-ish. I had this book. It's in my elite tier of books, so that means it's over a 9. I have it at 9.3. How about you?
I think I ranked it an 8.7, but as I've thought about it more, I could have easily put this at a 9 because I think it fits into my all-time favorites.
I think it's better than Red Rising, the first book.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be the highest, from what I can tell, the highest rated book we've rated so far. So I would be completely happy putting this at a 9. You had an 8.7. I had 9.3. If you want to bring me down to an 8.9, I'd be amenable.
I think 9 is a very good spot for it. I think because it's both of our favorite books ever. If I had to recommend any standalone book to people, this is it. Absolutely 110%. This is better than any other book we've talked about in here by a wide margin. It is fantastic. It's emotional. It's exciting. The characters are great. I think it deserves a 9. I think it deserves to be in the all-time favorites category.
I'm glad to hear it. My heart rejoices to hear it. I definitely agree with all you said. I feel like the success of a book has so much to do with how it makes you feel. If it made you feel real things, and this book does that. Your official protagonist ranking for the Sword of Kaigen is 9.0.
The highest yet by a pretty wide margin.
By a wide margin. You can tell that we're saving some gems for you, and this is one of them. So read the Sword of Kaigen. I know we say that every episode about the book we're reviewing, but we don't break down any book that we don't think is worth reading. Actually, we may do that. That'll be fun. We would try to keep it positive vibes. Positive vibes.
We should just have one where we just bash a book. It's like,
Yeah.
this is the stupidest thing I've ever read.
I do kind of want to bash Dune Messiah for some reason.
We need to have a Dune episode, and I'm willing to do some Dune bashing.
Our next segment, brought to you by Very Good Industries. We have Blind Rankings, Avatar the Last Airbender edition. Okay, Mason, today you are blind ranking. Who would you trust your child with in Avatar the Last Airbender? The first person is Iroh, Uncle Iroh.
Number one. Gotta be number one, Uncle Iroh.
Number one. He made Zuko into the man he is today.
He did. And the only reason why Zuko struggled is because he wouldn't listen to Uncle Iroh.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Toph Beifong. Toph.
Number four.
Yeah. She's a little bit of a tough teacher and blind. Okay. Fire Lord Ozai.
5.
Okay, you got Uncle Iroh at 1, Toph at 4, and Fire Lord Ozai at 5. You don't like Fire Lord Ozai's parenting skills?
No, he's probably better than Azula, which I think you probably slipped in there.
Actually, I've got next I've got King Boomy.
King Boomy's a solid number 3.
Okay. That means that your number 2 will be Katara.
I nailed this.
You nailed
Absolutely nailed it.
You
Absolutely
nailed it.
nailed it. We got Iroh, Katara, Boomy, Toph, Fire Lord Ozai.
I don't think I could have done better. I think that is exactly the order I had them in. So good work.
Too good at this. Too good at this.
There's definitely got to be some more content on the Avatar, The Last Airbender. It's too good.
So good. Such a show. All right. That brings us to our next game, a new segment called Guess Who, where Carter and I are going to do a best of 3 series to see who could guess the other person's character first after asking a number of questions. So I think we should write down who our person is.
Yeah, good call. Let me see. Okay. And this is best 2 of 3.
Yep.
All right. I've got mine.
They have to be reasonable characters, not just like the cabbage guy.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to be people we know.
The Ganjings and the Zangs.
I'll start off. My first question to you is your character on Team Avatar? No. Okay.
Is your character a bender?
No. Is your character a bender?
No.
All right.
Is your character a human?
No.
I don't know why you're hesitating on all these questions.
Well, like I said, I'm a little rusty on Avatar. I had to like brush up a little bit. Okay. Does your person live in the Earth Kingdom?
Is your character, since they're not human, small?
Yes.
Okay.
I think you got it. Okay, that means I have to make a wild guess here. Is your person the cabbage man, the cabbage merchant?
No, my person's not the cabbage merchant. Is your character Momo?
Momo. Yes. You got it. Who is your person?
My person was Lee.
Ty Lee. Oh gosh, you're right. That should have been right where my mind went, but it wasn't. I'm dumb. Okay, I need to really think of someone good here. Ty Lee, that's just good enough. Let's see. You already have someone in mind?
I got one.
All right. Me too. You start first.
Is your character female?
Yes. Is your person of the Fire Nation?
Yes. Is your person of the Water Nation?
No.
Okay.
Is your person a bender?
Yes. Is your person Team Avatar?
No. So you have a firebender. Is your person considered to be one of the good guys? Or
Yes.
okay.
Is your character attractive?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Is your person Uncle Iroh?
It is not. Is your person mildly depressed?
Yeah. Yes. Is your person Zuko?
No.
No.
Is your person May?
Yeah. You're good at this.
My person was
Who is you?
My person was Roku.
Roku. That's hard. Right. Should asked if they were dead or not. Okay, well, should we play the third round just for fun?
Yep. This will be, if I win this one, you owe me some free seafood and chowder.
All right.
Is your person a weapons master?
No.
No.
Is your person of the Fire Nation?
Yes. Is your person male?
No. Is your person Bender?
Yes. Is your person a good guy?
Yes. Is your person male?
Yes. Is your person a bender?
Yes.
Okay.
Is your person considered to be over the age of 30 years old?
Yes.
Okay.
Is your person a earthbender?
No. Is your person part of the Fire Nation's military?
At one point, yes. Is your person a bender of any kind?
Yes. I think you already asked that question. You can have another one.
Is your person from the South Pole?
Yes.
Okay.
Is your person Uncle Iroh?
No.
Oh, okay.
Is your person Katara?
No. Is your person Zuko?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Is your
Not-
person Gran?
Grand. Dude, how did you get that before? Who is your person?
Jong.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know who that is.
It is Aang's first firebending teacher and a member of the
Alright.
White Lotus.
All right. You had hard ones for me. I'll say that. Grand was tough. I'm surprised you got Grand. But I never would have got John.
Well, listeners, that brings us to our Watchtower review, sponsored by Moe's Seafood and Chowder. In our Watchtower review, we're actually just going to talk about some topics in the TV show Avatar the Last Airbender.
So this is like part of our childhoods, right?
It's got that amazing ability that it is very much meant for kids, but at the same time still speaks to adults.
Yeah. And I actually didn't watch this in my childhood. I watched it in high school because everyone's like, oh, yeah, Avatar was so good when I was little. I was like, well, let me get in on the action. I want to know what everyone's talking about. And it holds up, but no matter what age you are, I feel like. I have not watched the movie, and I think I refuse to.
The M. Night Shyamalan one.
Yeah. Or the new TV show, the live action.
I watched the live action.
Did you like it?
I actually did. Cartoon is definitely way, way better, but I got enjoyment out of watching the live action.
This is a story that makes a lot of sense as an series and not live action. I think it works much better.
Yeah. I think animation allows you some creative opportunities that you can't get with live action yet. And so I would agree that this is better adapted to the animation as it is currently. And they did such a good job with the original setup with this. Like, the attention to detail is so good. For example, in one of the early episodes when Aang is helping these two groups of people across the canyons, and one is the Ganjings and one is the Zhangs, and the Ganjings are like, you know, like the clean people, like all uptight and everything. In Chinese, the word Ganjing means clean, and the Zhangs, it's supposed to be Zhang, which means dirty or dirt in
Brutal.
Mandarin. And so
Wow.
and they were dirty people. And so like just like attention to detail like that is like super fun, and all like those little things add up that made the show great.
That is cool. And for those of you that don't know, Mason is fluent in Mandarin, and I've seen him many times, many hours in the library in Hawaii studying Mandarin when he should have been at the beach with me.
I would say I'm not fluent anymore if I ever was completely fluent, but I'm still conversational. I bet your Spanish is probably better than what my Mandarin is right now.
Well, I get to speak Spanish every day, and you don't get to speak Mandarin every day. So it's not really fair. It's not really a fair competition. And Spanish is probably the easiest language in the world. And I think Mandarin is probably the hardest.
It's up there. Anyways.
But now you're learning Spanish.
Yep.
Shout out to Yuriko. She's got to whip you into shape, that Latin tongue.
I know.
So we've come up with a few topics to talk about for the Watchtower review regarding Avatar the Last Airbender. The first one we're going to discuss is our takes on Zuko. Is his redemption arc the greatest ever? Or are we going to say it's, Darth Vader or Jaime Lannister, people like that have thrown their hats in the ring too? But initial thoughts is I think that blueprint of a redemption arc stands up and is a blueprint that is followed by a lot of new stuff.
So I think if we really were to break down the Zuko redemption arc, is if in the very beginning you can tell that Zuko isn't a bad guy. Like even though like he's hunted the Avatar and doing all these bad things, he still has like redeemable qualities where he's very honor bound. He always lives up to his word. He's a little bit selfish, but when push comes to shove, he's there for his men and he's trying to do what's right for his country, even though his country is in the wrong. And he's still like 16 at this time, where he's wanting his dad to love him again. He lost his mom, and so I think he was always a good person and got put into a terrible situation where Jamie Lannister has no excuse. And even he redeemed himself. He became a more likable character, but let's be honest, like he's still sleeping with his sister in the very end. He's still choosing the wrong side.
And what about Darth Vader? Where does Zuko's redemption arc stand in regards to Darth Vader? I know that you've internalized the story of Anakin Skywalker, and so I'd like to hear what you think about that.
Darth Vader is definitely up there. The thing is, Darth Vader is good for like all of 20 minutes. Again, he doesn't go on a long journey of doing what's right. He comes back, saves his son, and then dies. So he did like one good act in the end. And so to me, the Zuko redemption arc is a better redemption arc. Maybe not an entire story, but the redemption of becoming lost and finding yourself again. There is more there with Zuko.
Yeah, and I think the age that these characters are at and the age that he is when he's going through all this identity crisis, trying to fight for his father's approval and, do what he thinks is right. Like Trent, it's cool to see because at the same time, when we're that age, I think everybody's looking for who they are and what is the right thing to do and how to be a good person and think for yourself. I've been trying to think about a better redemption arc than Zuko's, and I think that in my mind, it's number one as far as, you start off as a bad guy trying to do what's right and you just can't
I
seem to
got
do it.
one for you.
Yeah.
What about Severus Snape?
Okay. The thing about Severus Snape is most of his redemption arc is happening in flashbacks. And so it happens all so quick. And then you realize that actually for 7 movies, you've been watching his redemption arc and the way he protects Harry is showing his love for Lily. But he only went to Dumbledore and became a good guy, a double agent against Voldemort because of his love for Lily. And it was more Voldemort killing Lily that turned him to the good side, not him coming to the good side on his own. It was a selfish reason, if that makes sense. It was like, oh, you wronged me after you said you wouldn't. And so I'm actually going to wrong you. So actually, he's doing the right thing, but it's not for the right reasons, I think. What do you think about that?
My point of view with the movies and everything is Lily had to have just been out of reach for him, where he might have still like loved her, but he was never going to be with her. She was with James. She had a baby with him, and he had said and done things to her that I don't think she was just going to let go and forgive him. And so I feel like he had to have come to the choice to go to Dumbledore without Lily in mind,
Yeah.
which is just my point of view without having read the last 2 books yet.
Yeah. And I also forget a lot of details as I ramble on about what I think. It is a redemption arc, and it is a good one. It's just the reasons are darker, I guess. And
Yeah.
Zuko's redemption arc is so full of wisdom from Uncle Iroh and friendship and acceptance.
The last thing I'm gonna say, comparing these 2 is I think a big difference for Zuko is he changes who he is as a person more than Snape does, where Zuko lets go of his selfishness. He tries like, "I'm so bad at being good." Like, he wants the change, where Severus has kind of stayed who he was all the time, like, would still bully kids and tease 11-year-olds and abuse power.
Snape didn't change who he was, he changed allegiances, essentially.
Yes, yes. But it's still a great redemption arc, a great story of bravery. Love it. Love Severus Snape. love Zuko even more.
Next prompt here is, what bender would you be and why?
For me, I gotta be between earth and fire. Fire just because of my hot-headed personality sometimes, and earth just because of like rock solid, and I just don't think I have the agility to do the moves that firebenders do. Where like I feel like the earthbenders are pretty just like stand, smash.
You'd be a good earthbender. I can see it.
And the character I get compared to the most in that show, but I don't know if this is a compliment or an insult, is the boulder.
Yeah, the boulder.
And so I guess I'll take earthbending, and I like that earth is like solid, it's powerful, it's strong, and its will won't break. And so I think that's just summarizes me up pretty good.
That's funny. You were going personality wise. I was just thinking, what would I like the most? I was thinking, funny thing, I was thinking of the opposite two choices. I was thinking of water or air. Because first of all, I went to air because like you can fly and flying's sweet. And you can also do like invisible things that people can't see. But also air is like super weak. So I don't choose air. I choose water bending because what cemented this for me was reading the Sword of Kaigen and seeing all the cool things they could do with water and ice. I mean, you've got to be able to do more with water bending than anything else. Like fire bending, you can't do much with fire bending besides destroy stuff. And air bending, you can fly around and push things. So earth bending is the most useful with water bending, but water bending can do like cool stuff.
Water would be the most fun, just like you don't even need like a ski boat. You could just do your own thing.
Yeah. And there's water in the air. You could always access water, or you could become a bloodbender if you had the gift. Well, cool. The last prompt we have for the Watchtower review is, which season of Avatar, or which book of Avatar, right, as they call the seasons, is the best? And then we're going to talk about what the most underrated episode was and why.
Perfect. In my opinion, and this was hard to decide, I think season 1 and season 3 have too many episodes that are just, I don't want to say irrelevant, but just like not needed, a lot of fluff, where I feel season 2, book 2, Earth, is right on track the entire time and has like the most consistent episodes. And then the fight in Ba Sing Se is really good at the end. I think season 3 Fire is most exciting. And season 1 is really, really good, but season 2 is the most consistent. It has all around the best episodes and everything in it's important, and it's just rock solid.
Yeah. So season 2.
Yep, season 2.
I
What do
agree.
you think?
Same thing. You get into the meat of the story. You're over learning the main characters, and the third one, it's like it's the end, and it's kind of like sad. But the second one, like you're in it. The third one's like it's building up to the conclusion, which is always awesome. The conclusion's obviously way more epic, but I like book 2. I like when he's learning earth bending. So I agree with you there.
What I don't like about season 3, and season 3 has some of the best episodes, like the Boiling Rock episode when Katara's gonna avenge her mom, all the Sozin's Comet episodes. There's so many good episodes, but then you have the weird ones of Zuko and Azula at the beach for a week, and then the play. Aang goes to a Fire Nation high school. Like, it's just so many episodes where you're just like, what is even the point of this?
So you brought up the beach episode, and that was actually going to be my most underrated episode, because to most people it's just like a filler episode, but it gives all that backstory of Zuko and Azula's dynamics that I liked it. Thought it was really important for their characters.
There's 2 episodes I thought of.
Yeah, let's hear it.
The first was the Lake Lao guy episode when Jet comes back and he's brainwashed, and they were trying to uncover all the stuff with the Dai Li and find Appa. I think it's an episode that no one ever talks about and is overlooked all the time. There's the Jet redemption arc. It was short. It could have done more with it, but it was also really good. It wasn't quite Zuko's, but it was a good redemption arc of how he changed and he wanted to be a good guy and ultimately sacrifices himself to be the good guy, overcame his brainwashing to do what's right. And you get the good speech from Uncle Iroh talking about you got to start asking yourself the big questions, like who are you and what do you want? That like really spoke to me. The other episode that I think is underrated is Appa's Lost Days,
Oh yeah.
which is just cruel to put after Tales of Ba Sing Se and Uncle Iroh's mourning his son's death.
Just depression. You have to get through it just so you're not
Yeah,
depressed.
but Appa's Last Days, it just cuts you deep. And I also love the part with the Kyoshi warriors where they defend Appa so that he can get away. I thought that was like a cool element in their story and for Suki to be in there a little bit more.
Yeah, dude. I mean, is there a more pure-hearted character than Appa? And he's just like being kept prisoner. Poor guy. Yeah. So there's our Watchtower review, everyone. I hope you like Avatar the Last Airbender. Well, that brings us to our next segment, Mason.
Weapon of Wisdom, which will be given by Carter today.
I have chosen an all-time quote from Avatar the Last Airbender, Uncle Iroh, because who has more wisdom than Uncle Iroh? The quote is, "Sometimes life is like this dark tunnel. You can't always see the light at the end of the tunnel, but if you just keep moving, you will come to a better place." I like this quote because it doesn't promise clarity. It promises movement. Most of us want a map. We want to see the light before we take the next step. But tunnels don't work like that. They're narrow, they're dark, they echo with our doubts. And sometimes the only thing you have is the next step in front of you. So what I love about this quote is that it doesn't say if you understand everything. It says if you just keep moving. Growth, it rarely feels bright in the moment. Faith rarely feels certain. Progress rarely feels dramatic. So it often feels like showing up when you're tired, praying when you're discouraged, choosing integrity when it costs you, and loving when it's inconvenient. The tunnel is temporary. Motion is what transforms it. So just that next step. You don't need to see the whole path. I'm expanding a lot on this, but I just love Uncle Iroh, dude. He's so good. And
he's the man.
You just need to have that courage to take the next step. And often the better place isn't the end of the tunnel. It's who you become walking through the tunnel. So it's a good one. And he has so many to choose from, to be honest.
Yeah, he does.
How can you not become a good man if you're Zuko by just listening to Uncle Iroh's wisdom?
I know. That's why I told you he's number one for caretaker for my child.
You chose well. You chose well. Maybe I gave them to you in a bad order. No, you did a good job.
Well, folks, that is our Brotagonists podcast for today. We started with a awesome Protagonist book breakdown over the Sword of Kaigen, which received our highest Protagonist ranking ever at 9.0 out of 10. Absolutely goated book. Mel Wang is legendary. Highly recommend reading this book. We then went into blind rankings where I had to blind rank Avatar the Last Airbender characters for Guardian of My Future Children. And we then did a game of Guess Who, where I smoked Carter and won all three of these battles. And then we had our Watchtower review over Avatar the Last Airbender. I highly, highly recommend watching the show. It'll be a slow burn for probably 3 episodes, and then you'll love it. Then finally, we had our Weapon of Wisdom by Carter today. A great quote by Uncle Iroh to keep moving along the path, and eventually you'll end up in a better place. And I couldn't agree more. And that is it for today. Thank you for listening.
Mason says, smash that subscribe button.
Smash that subscribe button.